Principal parts of verbs is something that you already know. You just didn't realize you know it, and you probably don't know the names for it. That's okay. We'll take care of it right now. This information, by the way, will be on the quiz on Tuesday, and you will have 3 questions out of the 20 on the quiz. 3 questions will be about principal parts of verbs. So you know about the present tense. It is either the basic form of the verb or it is the form of the verb if you're using third person singular, and it has an S or an ES. So you might see Peter asks her to be quiet and writes in her diary each night, or it might also be I ask students every day to complete their homework. So ask or asks, write or writes, but that's the basic form that's present. There's also a present participle. The present participle is formed when you add the ing and you use it after a form of the verb be to be used as a helper. So that's am, is, are, was, were, will be, things like that. So they are asking if there. She was writing about her experiences. We know as native English speakers that we don't say they asking if there is more food. We know that we have to use that be verb are in there. So present participle is the ing plus the be verb. Now, here's where we start to distinguish between regular verbs and irregular verbs. In the past tense, in regular, we're going to add a D or an ED, such as in Mr. Dussel asked to be left alone. The past participle is the same. The past participle is adding a D or an ED. The only difference is you're using it to show continuous action, and it is used after a form of have, which is have, has, or had. So Mrs. Van Daan has asked for her coat. Past participle is the same as in a regular verb. Past participle is the same as the past, except you're using it after a form of have. Where the struggle comes in is with irregular verbs because they don't have a single predictable pattern. We say Mr. Frank writes a list of items every day, but we would say Mr. Frank wrote the list of items yesterday. And the wrote is past tense in irregular. Write, wrote, have, written. And in the past participle, you see that also then doesn't follow that same. We have Margot had written in her book. So again, just like in regular, it's used after a form of have, but the difference is in past participle, or I'm sorry, in irregular, we don't have that predictable pattern to get us to the past tense form or the past participle form. So these are your principal parts of your verbs. The key, what do you need to know for the quiz, is being able to identify out of a group. If I ask you to identify the present participle, you need to know to look for the be verb and the ing. If I give you a sentence and say which one is the past participle, you're going to have to look through and be able to find that out. So hopefully that works for you, and hopefully that will be good for us for the quiz on Tuesday.